This is coming from 2 John chapter 1, verse 1. From the elder to the dear lady and to her children, whom I truly love, and I am not the only one, but all who know the truth love you, because the truth remains in us and will be with us forever. I like to give all praises and glory and honor to Almighty Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. I like to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the men of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Boaz on the set once again. Now, uh, when this thing goes down, okay, 90% of these so-called Negro women are not going to make it, okay? This is going for the dear ladies that's going to make it in this truth, okay? That's going to make it, who calls Abraham, who calls their husband their master, okay? It's only for them. They're going to make it. First Peter chapter 3, verse 6. Sarah lied that she obeyed Abraham and called him her master. You are now her daughters if you do good and are not afraid of anything. Okay, so these dear ladies, they're going to believe that the so-called white man is the devil that the Bible's speaking of. These dear ladies are going to believe that America's going to be destroyed with nuclear fire, okay, and they stand behind their men and their husbands, okay. These are the dear ladies that the scriptures are talking about, okay. That's what this is about. These are the dear ladies that the Bible is talking about. The book of First Timothy chapter 2, verse 11. Women should learn in silence and in all humility. I do not allow them to teach or have authority over men. They should keep quiet, okay? These ladies are keeping quiet, listening to the videos, getting their precepts, reading the Bible, and trying to get a better understanding of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, okay? These are the dear ladies that's going to make it. The so-called Negro woman, they're not going to make it when this thing goes down. 90% of them are too engrossed with the so-called white man, and so they're going to get eradicated when this thing goes down. Like REI says that we have the other nations as our ladies. We have the so-called Puerto Rican, the so-called Latin, the so-called Native American Indian. We can raise up children unto them, okay, because the seed goes through the man, okay. So the so-called Negro woman, they're not gonna make it when this thing goes down. Okay, it's about 90% of them won't make it when this thing goes down. Okay, they're gonna get eradicated. Okay, there's only gonna be a remnant of them to survive when this thing goes down. Okay, Yahweh Yahushai, the day of the Lord is coming with both with cruel wrath and vengeance of anger, destroying the sinner out of it. Okay, so it's only going to be a few dear ladies to make it out of here with their life when this thing goes down. For Adam was created first and then Eve. And it was not Adam who was deceived, it was the woman who was deceived and broke Yahweh's laws. Now a woman will be saved through having children, and if she perseveres in the faith and love and holiness with modesty, okay, so that's how they're going to be saved, okay. We're persevering, do childbearing, raising up the house, okay, unto her man. That's how they're going to be saved. That's what this is about. The book of Second Timothy chapter 1 verse 5. I remember the sincere faith you have, the kind of faith that your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice also had, and I am sure that you have also, okay? So they have to persevere in their faith, okay? They have to believe the so-called white man's going down, okay? They have to believe the so-called white man's going to get eradicated, and they have to be a pillar of rest to their man. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself, a pillar of rest. Okay, so if you get a wife, you get a pillar of rest to yourself. Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, that's what this is all about. The book of the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, verse 22. A harlot shall be counted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. Okay, so that's what this is about. You have to be the dear lady that's listening and quietness and submission, okay, to your husband and in this truth, okay. That's how you're gonna persevere in this thing, okay. You have to be that dear lady, okay, and it's not gonna be much of them to make it out with their life when this thing goes down, okay. It's once again, it's gonna be like 90% of them to not make it, okay. They're not going to make it when this thing goes down, okay? They're going to be destroyed. A wicked woman is given a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth Yahweh. So a godly woman is that fears Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, okay? That's not dancing to the so-called white man's tune, okay? But the so-called Negro woman, they won't give up the white man, okay? They're not going to give up the white man, so they're going to perish with this devil, okay? There are some dear ladies out there, okay, that love Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, that submits to their husbands, okay, that don't have husbands. When that day comes, you will be paired off. Yahweh Shai is going to pair you off with a good brother to take care of you. A shameless, verse 25, the book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 25. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shameful will fear Yahweh. A woman that dishonors her husband shall be shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonors him shall be counted ungodly of all. Okay, that's what this is about. Okay. That's what this is all about. The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10. How hard is it to find a capable wife? She is worth far more than jewels. Okay, so it's hard to find a capable wife. Okay, it's hard to find it. Okay, Solomon said out of 1,000 women, he didn't find not one righteous one. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 7, verse 28. I have looked for other answers, but have put none. I found one man in 1,000, and I could respect, but not one woman. Okay, so he couldn't find not one woman. Okay, he couldn't find out one. He said he could find one out of 1,000 people. he said he could find one man he could respect, but out of a woman, 1,000 women, he couldn't find not one. Okay, so when this thing goes down, the so-called Negro woman is going to get eradicated. Okay, they're going to be destroyed. They're going to get obliterated. Okay, when this thing goes down. Okay, they're going to have to be rebirthed in the kingdom. Okay, and if they go off in the kingdom, we're going to put shackles on them too. Okay, but we looking for the dear lady. Okay, that basically respects her husband and learns in truth and in sobriety. That's what this is about. The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 11. Her husband puts his confidence in her, and he will never be poor. As long as she lives, she does him good and never harm. She keeps herself busy making wool and linen cloths, okay? Making linen clothes, okay? That's what this is about. The book of Judges, chapter 4, verse 21. Sisera was tired that he fell sound asleep. Then Jezreel took a hammer and a peg and quietly went to him and killed him by driving the peg right through the side of his head and into the ground. When Barak came and looked for Sisera, Jezreel went out to meet him and said to him, "Come here. I shall show you the man who you're looking for." So he went in with her, and there was Sisera on the ground dead, with the tent pegged through his head. Okay, so we're looking for the dear lady. Okay, that's the one that's going to escape this judgment. Okay, the one that basically submits herself to Yahweh Shai and her husband. Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, if the woman wants to be saved. The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 21. Submit yourselves to one another because of your reverence for Christ. Wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as to Yahweh. For a husband has authority over his wife as Christ has authority over the church. And Christ gave himself the savior of the church, his body. And so wives must submit themselves completely to their husbands, just as the church submits itself to Christ. Okay, so that's what this is about. That's what this is about. Okay, we're looking for the dear lady. Okay, okay, the one that believes the so-called white man's going down, the ones that believe that this man's going to get taken into slavery. Okay, the ones that believe in Yahweh Shai is going to come back and set up a kingdom that should never be destroyed. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and there are some out there. Okay, not all the sisters are going to get eradicated. There are some sisters out there that truly believe in Yahweh Shai. Okay, and that's going to receive salvation, okay? That's going to make it on this first round, okay? But a lot of these women, they're not going to make it, okay? They're going to get eradicated, okay, when this thing goes down. Okay, one moment. The book of Isaiah, chapter 32, verse 9. You women who live a easy life and free from worries, listen to what I am about to say. You may be satisfied now, but the time next year you will be in despair because there will be no grapes for you to gather. You have been living an easy, free life from worries, but now tremble with fear. Strip off your clothes and rags around your waist. Okay, so a lot of the women, they not gonna make it out with their life when this thing goes down. Okay, they're not gonna make it. Okay, only the dear ladies. Okay, that the Bible's speaking about. The book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 11. Boaz answered, I have heard about everything that you have done for your mother in law since your husband died. I know how you left your father and mother and your own country and how you came to live among a people you have never known before. May Yahweh reward you for what you have done. May you have full reward from Yahweh, power of Israel, to whom you have come for protection. Okay? That's what this is about. That's what this is all about, okay? There are some dear ladies like Ruth out there, okay, who clung unto Yahweh Yahushai, okay, through her mother-in-law, okay. The Ruth chapter 4, verse 14. The women said to Naomi, praise Yahweh. He has given you a grandson today to take care of you. May the boy be famous in Israel. Your daughter-in-law loves you and has done more for you than 7 sons, and now she has given you a grandson. You will bring new life to you and give your securities and your old age. Okay, so that's what this is about. Okay, that's what this is all about. The book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14. If you keep quiet at a time like this, help will come from heaven to the Jews, and they will be saved. But you will die, and your father's family will come to an end. Yet, who knows, maybe it was for a time like this that you were made queen. Okay, so once again, we're looking for the dear lady. Okay, the ones that know America's going to be destroyed and the so-called white man's going to get eradicated, and all the other nations are going to go get put into slavery. Okay, who are listening to brothers in quietness and with all sincerity. Okay, there are sisters out there that will be delivered and make it out with their life. Okay, there are some that's going to make it out with their life when this thing goes down. And so hopefully you as well edified. I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Almighty Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Shalom.